Welcome to Other Business. It is just Welsh today. We're trying something new. No debates, no back and forth. Just a conversation about something we're passionate about, something we care about, something we give a shit about. And for me, I wanted to take the time to talk about my favorite movie genre themes, whatchamacallit of all time. It's time travel. Now, the reason I wanted to chat about time travel movies is because of what had just happened in your brain when I said that. You thought of the time travel movie that you love, whereas another listener elsewhere thought of a completely different, unattached, disparate film that involves time travel, and the chance of them being the exact same movie are slim to none. I say my favorite movie genre thingamajig is time travel because that leads into a question. Which time travel? I mean, we all know time travel in movies is basically magic. The science never really holds up if you look at it closely. If you start asking about paradoxes, half the time the writers are going to ignore you. Doesn't matter, it's a fun film. We don't watch them for the physics. The rules are there to mess with our head and be interesting. So here's my TED Talk on time travel and film. I'm going to break down the different types of time travel in media, in film and television, really. Because honestly, the way a movie handles time tells you exactly what kind of story they're trying to sell to you. And I think it says a little bit of something about you as well, of which type of time travel movie you call a time travel movie. Section 1, The Loop, the prison of the present. Let's start with the worst possible way to travel through time, right? It's the loop. In these movies, time travel isn't a vehicle, it's not a fun thing, it's not a cool shenanigan that's happening to somebody, it's quite literally a prison. You're not going back in time to the 50s to hang with your parents or your favorite muses or celebrities. You're stuck in a loop, reliving it over and over again until something happens and it's fixed. Whether that's something about the main character, the story at large, the device that's causing the loop. There's a lot of types that can come down to this one.
What would you do if you were stuck in one place and every day was exactly the same and nothing that you did mattered?
Let's dig into Groundhog Day to start with. Bill Murray, iconic 90s film. But if you strip away the slapstick, it's actually a horror movie about infinite isolation. There's fan theories out there that have done the maths, and I don't know why anyone would do this, but they've done the maths, and it suggests that Bill Murray's character spends like 10,000 days in that loop. It's like 30 years of your life in the same town, at the same day, and the same everything happening around you. That's like listening to the Scripty Business episodes on repeat forever. It would be hell. That's why we keep making new ones. At first, you'd be stealing cars, you'd be running amok, you'd be doing whatever the hell you want, because hey, there are no consequences. There is no repercussions to your actions whatsoever. But the fun does run out, and that's where this movie gets freaking amazing. It gets dark, it turns nihilistic. There's the whole sequence where he's trying to end things. I don't know if I can say the word of what he's trying to achieve there and not be censored or whatever else. So he's trying to end things. We'll leave it at that. Multiple times, because that loop he's in, it's not a gift. It's not fun. It's a purgatory. It hits so hard because each and every one of us, we've all had those days where we feel like we're just hitting a reset button. Monday afternoon comes by, you come home, you have dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you do the same damn thing. Tuesday morning, all starts all over again. And you're waiting for something to change. And the brilliance about this film is that he learns to love, yes, but he also learns to survive on his own mind. The real changes in that movie and his situation comes when he starts to change himself. He's not gaming the system, he's not trying to master the day. He starts living for himself and enjoying it, and that's how he breaks the loop, which is something we can all take on board as human beings.
If you're reading this email, then source code works even better than you and Dr. Rutledge imagined.
Another look at the loop, another type of loop, I guess. Well, it's still a time loop, really, but I friggin' love this movie. It's Source Code from 2011. Jake Gyllenhaal, Jakey G. It's a bit of a contrast to Groundhog Day. You know, Groundhog Day is about finding meaning for yourself in a static world, in the one town, and Source Code is high-octane, balls-to-the-wall panic. He's stuck in 8-minute bursts to stop a train bombing. And if you haven't seen it, he's essentially a soldier who's repeatedly sent back in time to the final 8 minutes of a stranger's life to figure out who the bomber is on a commuter train. It's incredible. There's probably a lot of flaws and gaps in the logic and all the rest of it, but Jesus Christ. Action movie? Hang on, we did action movies the other week. I'm not sure if this counts as an action movie. Maybe a sci-fi thriller? Oh god, but if you haven't seen Source Code, I genuinely recommend watching it. The thing with the 8-minute burst that he's living through is that the loop itself is a tightening noose around him. Every time he wakes up, he's playing detective. It's all high speed. Again, it's 8 minutes. That is not long. That's not even how long I've been talking for so far on this podcast episode. So, it's not long at all. Or if you're hating every second of this episode, it's a very fucking long time. But this movie's not about being a better person. It's about solving a puzzle before that timer hits, before you get reset. And it's a great example of how time travel in film can be just as effective at raising your blood pressure and getting you going for an action movie as it is for making you ponder your very own existence. The next type of time travel movie is predestination or unbreakable fates. This is it's a locked timeline. It's a closed loop where you can't change your fate. That's the rule book that they play with this. Basically, everything that's happening, you're the one that's causing it. Prime example for this one, Terminator.
I'll be back.
If you look at the original Terminator with Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton, the irony is ridiculous. Skynet sends a machine back in time to kill Sarah Connor, which forces a resistance to send Kyle Reese back to protect her, but by doing it, he becomes the father of John Connor, the leader of the resistance in the future. Skynet basically builds its own greatest enemy, and it's a human. Every single action the machines take to prevent the future that happens is the exact thing that ensures that future happens. It's a cold, metallic circle. The movie treats time like a trap. No matter how hard you kick it, you're just tightening the hinges. It's a real daunting, terrifying look at a universe where free will is completely lost. The machines take over. And we are in a world of AI right now, so it's kind of fucked up. Also, worth watching again in today's world. Probably not the entire franchise, because 3's shit, and everything after that is a waste of time, but 1 and 2 are brilliant. Murray doesn't think so, he only likes number 2, but I love them both. The other type of unbreakable fate example that I want to talk about is the time traveler's wife.
He explains to her that he's a time traveler.
Yeah. Not the standard sort of fucking movie we talk about on our podcast, but I'm not gonna lie, I love that movie. It's friggin' awesome. If you've not seen it, it's from like mid to late 2000s, and the lead character has a genetic disorder that basically causes him to involuntarily time travel. So he is in a partner with his wife, very patient, but living on the consistent timeline. And she's kind of got to deal with him popping in and out of time, like different age versions of him showing up. And it takes this whole no free will vibe of the predestination or unbreakable fate trope in time travel movies and makes it a tearjerker. Time travel is not a mission here. It's not fun. It's a chronic illness that Eric Bana's character has. He can't get his life in order. He's living out of time. And his wife having to deal with him going through this is pretty goddamn brutal. It's almost like, Benjamin Button? The tale of Curious Case of Benjamin Button or something like that? But it's better. You gotta watch it. You kind of know where it's all gonna go as you're watching it, but the struggle that they face in this closed loop situation, it's all about cherishing the moments that you do get and making the most of what you have, man, which is life. It's cool. And it's pretty soppy, but, I'm a sucker for a romance movie. We know that. Probably the most known or, talked about time travel tropes in movies prior to the next section that we're about to get into is the butterfly effect time travel movies. Both the movie itself, the butterfly effect, which really ruins conversations about the butterfly. Are you talking about the movie? I love that movie. No, I'm talking about the theory of stepping on a butterfly in the past and it changes everything through time. It's ripples. It's ripples through time where you do something in the past and like dropping a stone in a pond, it ripples outwards and causes changes left, right, and center. The gold standard for this type of movie, I mean, Christ, who are we kidding? The gold standard of all time travel media. Back to the Future, guys.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
80s classic. And what makes this movie work, it's not just the DeLorean. It's not just Marty and Doc and their adventures. It's the ripple effect. It's the personal stakes that Michael J. Fox's character has throughout the movie, which is just perfectly represented with the family photograph. He's gone back in time. He's made a change, and what they're able to show with that photograph that he holds in this new branched timeline is the old timeline effectively being erased. And he sees that with his family being erased first, which I said, oh, that kind of makes sense. If he started getting erased straight away, it would turn into the Invisible Man, or the movie would just end 10 minutes in, which wouldn't be a good thing to talk about in a cool podcast essay. It's not a video essay, it's an audio essay. But it's not about just the physics behind it, right? It's the anxiety. It's the freaked out realization that your existence entirely is hanging by a thread because you fucked up your parents' first date. You interfered, and now your mum wants to date you. Really just a weird vibe for so much of that movie. The second one's a better one if you ask me, but it kind of breaks the law of its own time travel a little bit. But regardless, maybe that's another soapbox chat we have about sequels that fuck up the original one that they're expanding on. But what it comes down to is that if you break a timeline, you end. Your siblings vanish. Your history is wiped out before you can even explain what happened. And it's dangerous, it's personal, and, iconic, incredibly fun.
The last thing I remember before the blackout was holding my hands over Kaylee's ears.
And of course, a butterfly effect movie is the butterfly effect. I feel like enough people know this one, but if you don't, essentially it's Ashton Kutcher in a decent role. He's not an arsehole. Well, he is an arsehole in the movie, but for different reasons. He figures out that he can alter his own memories of childhood by reading through his old journals and diary entries, trying to find a way to fix things, which ends up causing new realities, right? So he treats this time travel like a surgical tool. He's going in and cutting and chopping and changing and trying to fix things because he thinks that if he can just go back and change one thing, he's going to fix everything about his current situation and get the life he wants, the life he feels he deserves, I suppose. But it's a horror story. This whole fucking movie is so dark and morbid and negative, and it's not a fun time for the most part, but goddamn, it's a good film. Every time he changes a past event, he wakes up in a present that's worse, and it's basically boils down to being a lesson. That the past, no matter how painful and fucked up and everything that's happened, is the foundation of who you are. And the movie makes a good point. You can't cut out the bad parts of your life because you never know what good things are going to come from the bad things that have happened prior. Also, so many flaws in that movie with the time travel. The best example of that is him in the prison where he convinces his buddy that he's the second coming of Christ or whatever, and he's about to have the scars on his hand, and then he goes back in time and slams his hands as a kid in school on those spikes, and it gives him scars in his hands in the present, but he didn't change what the present was, air quotation marks. Every other thing before that kind of gives him in a new branching reality, and just for that one, maybe one other thing in the whole movie it doesn't. Convenient. Or poorly written. You decide. Now, we talked about Back to the Future being the gold standard of time travel in film. And it was for a fucking long time. And I know that Murray is rolling in his grave listening to this part of the podcast. And I'm not going to tell him that this has been said. And he can do his own thing when he has a one shot that he does in this show. So fuck you, Murray. Go away. It's the multiverse, which, MCU kind of showed us how that's done and done well. Don't at me, but Avengers Endgame, guys.
We're in the end game now.
Back to the Future's rules were top. They were peak. They were the gold standard. Again, keeps going back to that phrase. Fuck me, but it really was. Endgame then decided to just throw that in the fucking bin. Like, after they all got defeated, the Hulk literally says Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit. And that wasn't a joke. He was setting new rules for them to be able to move forward. They moved away from the grandfather paradox, which is what it's called, where changing your history ruins your future. Kind of on the nose of Back to the Future. It's like going back in time and becoming your own grandfather. So, yeah, incest has been a thing in time travel for a while, apparently. But whatever. In this new version, this new multiversal approach to time travel, I guess, the way that it works is you can't change your past. If you go back in time, you aren't actually altering your own reality. You're fracturing off a new timeline branch, which kind of is what they do in Back to the Future, except for the fact that the old branch erases itself, it disappears. It's like reality is fixing itself. The timeline repairs itself as it goes and makes it up as it goes. I don't know, the logic works out better in the movies, alright? Just go watch them to get the better explanation. Don't at me, I know I did a bad job of explaining it, but it's the gist of it, right? Marvel turned around and flipped it a little bit, because making this branching timeline and, you know, you're not altering the current timeline, and you can go back in time and steal an Infinity Stone from a really relevant and important part of the MCU lore at that point. It's not gonna fuck everything up for today. It's cool. Now there's just two. Whatever. It's a writer's ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. By going to multiverse and branching timelines and all this sort of stuff, they took away the stakes of normal paradoxes. You don't have to worry about fading from photographs anymore, because the past is just a place you can visit. And it allows them, in fairness, and I'm sure this happened in the comics, but you get all these variations of characters, and you can keep the franchise moving forward without ever worrying about breaking shit that came before it, which sometimes works out for the better. I really like the Loki TV show, and the way that that came about is purely based off that, so, you know, silver lining. The last type of time travel movie is a weird one to define, but we'll call it like fish out of water, or displacement is a word that comes up a lot with this, right? And I'm going to give you some examples, and it's going to make perfect sense right off the bat. Army of Darkness, Black Knight, Idiocracy, right? This is taking a person from one era and putting them in another one. And that's it. That's the time travel aspect of it. It's not necessarily ripple effects and time loops and time dementia and all these type of crazy real sci-fi things and problematic things that come about from a script that's not quite cooked long enough. It is literally just take somebody from now, put him in the past. Take someone from now, put him in the future, and make a movie about it. And I mentioned two of my favorite ones for that one. Army of Darkness is just incredible. Bruce Campbell playing Ash Williams, dropped into the Middle Ages. It's just stupid in the best way possible, and it's this, again, fish out of water comedy. So the time travel is just an excuse. It's just a setup for the punchline that is Ash fighting his way through the Middle Ages and the Evil Dead. It's killer. It's so good. And I do miss when the Evil Dead movies were fun, for the record. Idiocracy is such a good movie. It gets a bad rap, man. I don't know why, but if you don't know about it, it's the reason that we have Crocs. For one, literally, that's the reason we have Crocs in this movie. Hang on, let's talk about the movie first. Right, so Idiocracy is just your average man who gets cryogenically frozen and wakes up 500 years in the future. Think Futurama. But society hasn't become smarter over time. They become dumb. Trump's been in charge for 500 years is basically what this movie is, and it turns out that the average Joe that was frozen and wakes up in this future area, I don't want to say future timeline, because it's just the future. He wakes up in the future, and he's the smartest person on Earth. He ain't smart at all. That is a great setup for a movie. And yeah, it's the early 2000s cheap, schlocky kind of shit humor, immature jokes and the rest of it. But it is fun. And if you're wearing a pair of Crocs, or you own a pair of Crocs, you have this film to thank for it, where they essentially needed to find stupid footwear. I believe That's why the costume department went and hit up the Crocs manufacturer, because there was still a new product at the time. And this is straight off the top of my dome. I've read the story multiple times. This isn't going to be 1,000% accurate, but if it intrigues you, look it up. They bought out, like, all the Crocs that they had made at that stage to put them in this movie to be stupid shoes, and the funding that was made by selling out all that stock essentially helped the company go around again and then take off and become popular. So, yeah, a costume prop from a joke of stupid shoes in the future is now one of the most popular shoes on the planet. Go figure. Oh, wait, are we in that future now? Trump is president. Now, we can't talk about time travel. Well, I can't talk about time travel, even when we're talking about movies. There was a TV movie of this thing, so this kind of counts still. But Doctor Who, man. Can't talk about time travel in general, whether it's film or TV specifically, without giving flowers to the best time travel media that's ever been made. These episodes, these stories that are told, it uses time as a sightseeing tour, as a holiday, to point out our own societal flaws. That's the whole thing about Doctor Who. So I was like, oh, they, yeah, let's see. Called myself out. There's been many female doctors now at this point. They treat time travel not as a puzzle, not as a challenge, not as something to be fixed or changed or altered, unless, you know, you get that vibe when you're Tennant's doctor and decide to save those Romans because fuck time and all the rest of it. But they are looking through history. They're going to see it, and it's the big reason they always have a human companion for the most part. They have that partner to the Doctor that is us. They're our point of view for the whole show and the story. So, you know, the show can hold up a mirror to us and say, look how fucked up things were in the past, and you still like it now, do better. Or look how fucked up things get in the future, do better now to stop that from happening. It's basically, come on, let's face it, that's what it is. But, end of the day, like, Doctor Who's not really about time travel or future, which is stupid of me to say. I know. It's humanity. It's the story of, you know, strength and perseverance and being a positive change on wherever you go and whenever you go. Yes, it's got all the timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff that is time travel, but it's about a lot more, right? And, you know, I think that makes this show impossible to define what type of time travel show it even is. I couldn't put it in one of the other categories, because it's fucking done all of them. It has way too much fun with time travel as a story trope, as a tool for conveying a message. It can't be just called a Butterfly Effect movie. See, again, not the Butterfly Effect movie. Obviously, it's not the Butterfly Effect. Fuck, that movie really ruined things when you're talking about time travel in media and pop culture. So circling back to my first point, which is, which type of time travel movie are you? If I had to put a label on my own preference, I have to go for the Butterfly Effect type of time travel. And I feel like it's the most troped and the most known and typical, you know, because Back to the Future, that really set that stand. It's the gold standard. I've said it again. I'm doing really good in this fucking solo episode without somebody to call me out on my bullshit. But I think that is a time travel movie to me. Terminator, yeah, time travel's a part of it, but I mean, come on, it's about machines. It's an action movie. Groundhog Day, yeah, it's a time loop, but I don't know whether the time travel is the big deal about that. I don't know. It's so impossible to say. But what I'm trying to say, poorly, is that I hope breaking down what type of time travel movies there are and where, you know, movies that you know of fit into that spectrum of the genre. Are we calling time travel a genre now? Tell me if you think it is. But I hope that in future, if someone starts talking about, oh, I love a good time travel movie, you go, what type of time travel movie? Because you can like one, not the other. Or you can just be a doctor about it and love every single type of time travel because it's all fantastic. It's all good fun. Time travel on screen works because we have regrets. We all have things that we want to go back and do differently, say differently, change. But we can't do that. You gotta live in the moment. You gotta fix yourself now. You gotta fix things now. Or later, when you get around to it, not your fucking boss or your parents. But in the meantime, cinema is the closest we're going to get to actually having a time machine. I've talked about on the pod before, going back in time by watching It's a Wonderful Life, or Murray's favorite old school movie, The Man Who Laughs. That sounds about right, something like that. That is such a good way to go back in time and see how things were before. We can't go forwards yet. Maybe one day we can. But then lots of spoilers will come out. So forget that point that I'm trying to make. I'm just trying to say, make sure you know what the deal is with time travel movies when you're recommending shit. And let me know in the comments. Let me know. Send us a message. Drop us a line. What did I miss? Is there another type of time travel movie that you associate as being a time travel movie? Like, fuck everything else you just said. It's this one that you forgot to mention in your little talk box thing. Welsh, do better. Is there a movie I've mentioned today that is one of your favorite movies of all time? Do you love Doctor Who as well? Do you really want Doctor Who to get picked up for more seasons because it is kind of in limbo at the moment and it's incredibly painful? Shout out. Let us know. Join our Ko-fi platform as well. You can subscribe, become a Ko-fi subscriber. It helps us to produce more content, get more shit done, and do cool stuff like a live show. We're doing that on the 23rd of July, which is fast approaching. The link to buy tickets is in the bio. We're at the Howling Owl, 23rd of July, 7:30 maybe. Something like that. You can get tickets to come and see me and Murray on stage making up a movie from scratch for Scripty Business. We'll have another Scripty episode next Tuesday, more other business to come on Thursday. And beside all that, if you need a fix in the meantime, we have like 3 fucking seasons of Scripty Business that is locked behind the vault. Another bonus to joining us on Ko-fi. So make sure you do, and we'll chat to you next time. Cheers for listening.